Danielle here. My pronouns are she, her, and today is September 28th, and it is the start of a new vlog. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I filmed another clip since my last one. If I did, that I just repeated myself, but that's okay. If you're new here, thank you. Hopefully you'll see something you like and stick around. And if you're returning, thank you for returning and your continued support. So I wanted to just check in because I'm about to project transition. So I've been working on, this is our home in the woods, our home in the forest. I can't remember exactly the name, but this was one of the kits that I got at Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit last year in 2022. It is by Janine McGowan of the Blue Flower. And when I started, I just had that line of border, and I had that tree, but only one of the 5 colors. And I just had this little bit of mountain, and I had a couple lines of waterfall. So I've added, most of this water for sure, added the bridge, all the rest of the mountain, all the trees, except, like I said, that one. Each tree has got a total of 4 colors, I think. And so all the trees have all their colors except for, you can see the spots for their little trunks. The trunks are the only thing that I'm missing out of the top portion of the falls. If I were to continue down here, I definitely can't get to the bottom of the falls within the Q-snap, so I'm not too worried about that. I did kind of want to finish their trunks, and maybe I will before I put it down, but that's probably all I would add, would be the little trunks. And the only reason I'm really putting it down is because I'm going to be doing my birthday start tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, so Multnomah Falls is basically almost done. You can see almost the whole chart in this, the needle minder cut it off a little bit, but you can pretty much see the whole chart. So as you can see, Multnomah Falls, besides what I can't fit in the Q-snap, is pretty much done. And so the next logical step would be to add the border down the side, and then add the border for the quote as far as I can get it, in the snap, and do the words. Do probably the tree above, the leaves and whatever those are. But yeah, but I'm going to be putting it down for now. Who the heck knows when I'll be picking it up again, because, my projects tend to only see the light of day once a year. So yeah, we're gonna put this down, and then I just wanted to show y'all what I did. Yesterday I went to Acorns and Threads for Whip Wednesday, which is the last Wednesday of the month. We have a stitch group, and there's a bunch of stitch groups there. I just, I had to pick one because I live so far. I shouldn't say I live so far away from the shop, because I really don't compared to other people, but I live far enough away that it's kind of an ordeal to go. So I just had to pick a stitch group that I like to stick to and go to that one. But so I had decided I didn't want to stitch the full projects from the retreat, because while I really love both Ink Circles and Satsuma Street's work, I've never really been drawn to stitch that many of their projects, just because we all have to be real with what we can stitch and what we like to stitch. Sometimes you might love something, but then you're working on it and you're like, oh, I do not enjoy working on this. So it's not for a lack of love of the designers or their designs. I just try to be really realistic about what I'm actually going to stitch. And so, but I decided as a little memento from the retreat and the charts, I would stitch a motif off of each of them. So this here, this little flower is from the Ink Circles chart. And so I stitched that up. And then I came over here and I really wanted an acorn because, you know, acorns and threads, but I also really wanted a leaf. My camera kind of like blows it out, or not blows it out, but like makes it look super dark. But you can tell there's like a couple shades of purple in there. And I just thought that the colors were really pretty. The colors do make more sense on the very dark linen that was provided with the kit. But again, I wasn't going to stitch the kits, so I sold the kits. So I stitched one of the acorns and one of the leaves from the Satsuma Street kit. And yeah, so I'm going to cut these up and they'll be journal finishes. I'll put them on the same page, and I am sure that I have a sticker that says Pinwist because I'm pretty sure they were in our swag bag. So I'll make a journal page for Pinwist and these will go on that. So yeah, that is what I've done. Oh, I should show you one more thing. Hold on, I gotta reach it. So I received in the mail my last round robin piece. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that this is the last one. We're gonna have, you know, fully finished projects soon. I fully intend to be the first person in my group to finish because, so, you know, I said after I'm gonna start my birthday start. But when I decide that I'm, you know, tired of stitching on that, this is first up in the docket. I am going to stitch this, you know, probably starting in about a week. And I fully intend to just bust it out in one go. It's only about, it's a little less than 1,300 stitches. And there was a teeny tiny mistake that I gotta take out, probably 50 stitches, or maybe not 50, I don't know. I'll show you where it is. It's like, well, and I'll show you when I pick up the fabric. It's in this wing right here. And so part of the problem with fudging it, at first I was like, it's fine, I'll just fudge it. Like this little guy will have to be like a stitch shorter or something. Oh no, this one would have to be like a stitch shorter. But I was like, I'll make it work. But then I realized that the web isn't going to touch the center if I don't fix it. So I just got to take out like from like right here, I think. So like right about here, I got to take it out up to this little buddy's feet. So yeah, no, it's like 25 stitches, I don't know. And then re-put them back in, and yeah, like I just have this quarter to do. Let me actually pick up the fabric and show you the project thus far. It looks so good. I'm really excited to work on this one. And partially because it's the tiniest one of all of them. Not gonna lie, that is definitely motivating me. Okay, let's see. How can we do this? Well, this gives you an idea. So, yeah, this one with the like bluish color, I believe was Michelle's contribution. And then this one over here with that like darker blue, that was Mandy's contribution. And then so that means the top portion was Megan's. This is Megan's piece. And this this center looks so good. I'll show you the floss here in a second. The fabric is a 14 count Stony Creek. I don't think it had a name, or Megan doesn't remember the name. And then the thread, the purple to black thread, is a variegated thread called Twilight, hand dyed by Rolanda. And then the web is actually a blend of DMC, what's it called? Etoile, and also the glow in the dark white. So let me show you the threads. Here is the two whites to blend together. And then here is the Hand Dyed by Rolanda. You can really see the variegation come through on the skein. And yeah, and then I just have to pick a color to fill in the little bones with. Yeah, like there's, it feels like a lot of colors in there. But yeah, so I'm so excited for this one. Like I said, ready to stitch it, ready to have this whole project done, ready to get mine back. Like I was telling the people in my group, like I don't think I could have finished, you know, an 8,000 to 10,000 stitch project within a year if I was just doing it on my own. So yeah, I mean, deadline stitching is definitely not my favorite, but it worked, you know. There's gonna be a finish within a year, so yeah. So that is my plans for the next couple of weeks for sure. I will check in with you again after I decide to put my birthday start down so that you can see how far I got on that. And then I'll probably be checking in when I'm done with this one, and then that'll probably be the whole vlog. So you know my plans now for the next couple weeks. So all right, I'll let you go for this clip and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hey everyone. So today is Thursday, October 5th. So it has been, I think I recorded a week ago, like on the 28th, that I was about to start, I was finishing up with working on Forest Home, and I was about to start my birthday start. And this is how far I've gotten in a week, and I think it's time to set it down. So this is my home in the garden from Hello from Liz Matthews. I'm stitching it on 32 count Jobelin from Bestitch Me in the colorway Not Another Sampler, which is the called for fabric, just in a different count and type. And I'm using almost all the called for Gloriana silk. The two colors that I changed are the yellow in the border is supposed to be darker, and then the A, that's supposed to be like kind of a greenish, not teal, but like if you know if you look up DMC 503, that's the color it's supposed to be. But in the cover photo it looks blue, so I picked out a blue, and then I just toned down this yellow. I'm not like totally happy with the contrast between the two yellows when I have to stitch them together. Like if you look at them separately, the C and the E, that looks really good, but together, I just don't quite know. I might do a mixed approach. I do have the called for, and so I might like selectively do, because at this point I don't want to pull that yellow out, because I feel like it would affect the whole flower. Like I just don't think I could rip it and not affect the other stitches. So maybe I'll do like an every other flower kind of thing. I'll use the darker. We'll see. I don't think I have to worry about it until I get to the end of the first row of flowers. But yeah, so this is actually almost 2,350 stitches. It's almost 15% of the chart, so I'm pretty happy with my progress in a week and ready to set it down. I did debate in the upper right there, taking the border out just one more strand each color, but I just don't think I have it in me. I think I'm ready to move on. So I'm gonna be moving on to my ink circles round robin, wings and things. And yeah, I'll be doing a check-in with that soon, but I just cannot even tell you how much I love this. I think this might be the prettiest thing that I've ever stitched. So, all right, I'm gonna let you go for this clip and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hey everyone, today is Monday, October 9th. And I am finished with my round robin completely. This is like 4, so this is the finished piece, and I'm all done. Now I just gotta wait to get mine back in the mail. I'm super excited to be done with this round robin. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but I, I don't enjoy deadline stitching. That being said, I have agreed to do a round robin again next year with my same teammates, Megan, Michelle, and Mandy. We're gonna do a Caroline Manning round robin. But yeah, so this is done. This is on a 14 count Stony Creek Ada using a hand dyed by Rolanda. I think it was called Twilight, and the web is in, it's a blend of DMC Etoile and the Blanc Etoile, and then the Glow in the Dark. And then it's kind of, this is the color that I chose to personalize Megan's piece with. We're all supposed to fill in the bones. The bones at the very top are not filled in because those are Megan's, and she either forgot to fill hers in before sending it on, or she decided to leave them so that she could actually put the last stitches into the piece. But then where you see these like darker blue ones, that was the section that Mandy did, and then this lighter blue ones is a section that Michelle did. And I decided to pick, it's kind of cool because this almost looks like glow in the dark, like on its own. Oh yeah, don't mind my dog. He's in between my legs under the blanket. But yeah, so I stitched this over 3 nights while doing a Halloween movie marathon. Last year, I had decided to make myself like a list of the Christmas movies and the Halloween movies that I want to watch every season, because my brain has a really bad search engine. And so I can't just be like, oh, what movies do I want to watch? Like, I can rattle off a few, but then like I'm gonna not think about so many of them. So I made a list, and then I turned the list into a tiny decisions wheel. And basically, I do it kind of complicated, I guess. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's not complicated. Maybe this is how you would do it too. But because there's like a lot of, franchises or a lot of like remakes, I didn't want to put every single movie on the wheel, because then I might be watching something like out of order, or out of the order that I would prefer to watch things in. Like, and if there's like 6 movies in a franchise, right? You don't want to spend number 6 and then number 2 and then number 5 and then number 3. That's silly. So the way that I set up my list was just that like I put like the first movie that I would watch if it's a multiple, if it's a franchise or whatever. So, but just because something has a bunch of movies doesn't necessarily mean that I'll watch all of them. So, like Halloween, for example, is probably the best example I have. I'm not like a die-hard Halloween fan, but I am kind of nostalgic, I guess, over the first Halloween movie. So for me, Halloween often just means Halloween, the original 1978 movie. Sometimes, though, if I'm feeling really into it, I consider Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and Halloween H2O to be sort of a trilogy. So sometimes, if I'm in the mood for it, it would mean I would watch those 3. But like, I don't 2, 3, or 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. I don't care for any of those. I've seen them all. I don't care for them. I've never watched the Rob Zombie ones because ew, no thank you. And then the newest trilogy, just, while I like that Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, and I like Judy Greer, who plays her daughter, No, they've really like upped the, gore factor in Halloween for me. So, um, but yeah, so my list is just like the base movies, um, and then I'll decide, how many and in what order I watch them. So the first thing that it spun was The Wizard of Oz. So I watched The Wizard of Oz, and then I watched Oz the Great and Powerful. And then it spun Garfield's Halloween Adventure, so that's just a 23-minute cartoon. And then it spun Edward Scissorhands. And then it spun Hotel Transylvania. Now, I did take a little bit of a departure. I've only seen the first one, but I bought on Vudu the pack of 4. So I watched the first 2, and then I was feeling like meh about the franchise. I was ready to move on. So I'll either go back to watch 3 and 4 later this season, or maybe I'll watch them next year. I don't know. But I was ready to move on. So I watched Hotel Transylvania 1 and 2, and then it spun Carrie. So I watched Carrie, and then I watched The Rage, Carrie 2. And that's when I finished, like 10 minutes before the end of Carrie 2. I finished like all of the charted stitches, but I just still had to fill in the bones. So because that obviously wasn't going to take anywhere near a whole movie, and also because Michelle's live Flosstube was starting soon, I just spent about like 20 to 30 minutes filling in the bones watching Flosstube. So it took me 7 movies, 1 cartoon, and then an additional 20 to 30 minutes. So not bad. I find that when I put myself like I'm gonna watch this whip parade, or I'm gonna watch this movie, and I want to see how much progress I can get done, that's very motivating to me, because like oftentimes when I'm stitching, I will like set the piece down, scroll my phone, have something I'm snacking on, or just like I don't like rethreading my needle. So oftentimes when I finish a strand, I might do those things. But if I am like, I want to see how much progress I can get between point A and point B, I won't do that. I will continually stitch. I will pause my content if I have to do something that's not stitching related. So that was a very good, like, motivating way to tackle this. Like, it only took me 3 nights. I imagine had I stitched it, my normal fashion of just like loosey-goosey, it probably would have taken me 5 or 6. So I should challenge myself to do that more. Like, probably, I don't think I could do that every time I stitch, but maybe like once a week, have a night where I just like, okay, I'm gonna watch, this, like line up the things I want to watch and take the progress photos, because I post them to my Instagram. It's very motivating, like to see here's what it looked like when I started this whip parade, here's what it looked like, or this Flosstube. But yeah, so I am probably actually gonna get this in the mail today. My dog has got 2 different vet appointments at 2 different places because he's having some kind of issue that is more urgent, and our normal vets can't get him in. But then he has to go to the normal vets just for his usual Cytopoint injection, and he has some biannual blood work that needs to be done, and it just so happened to fall on the day that the other vets could get him in for the more pressing issue. But because there's 2 appointments at 2 different places, I'm probably going to have a little bit of time between. So I figure I could pop over to the post office and get this back to Canada, get it back to Megan. I'm pretty positive I'm the first person out of the 20-ish people that are participating in the round robin to complete the round robin. And if I get this in the mail soon enough, then Megan will definitely be the first person to get her completed piece back. I am now going to be moving on to Modern Folk Embroidery, Spirits of the Dead. Haven't taken it out of the project bag yet, so like forgive the glare. But this is where I'm starting. I have the entire left-hand side of that top part done. You can kind of see it rolled up there. And then that's what I'd like to complete this year, is fill in. You can kind of see where the white line stops. That's the edge of the piece. So, you know, basically this whole thing is basically full coverage except for the negative stitching, which, you know, there's a vase and leaves and stuff, but basically that entire area has got to be covered. So that's what I'm going to move on to. And yeah, so that's all I've got for you in this clip. And I will see everybody in the next clip after I'm done stitching on Spirits of the Dead. Oh, which that is on a 14 count. I can't remember the colorway, but it was dyed by the Steel City Stitchers. So, all right, that's all I've got for you, and I'll see you in the next clip. Bye. Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, October 29th. And oh my Lanta, I don't remember the last time I filmed a clip. I have been working on this for far too long. It's been like a wild few weeks. There was a good nearly week that I didn't stitch at all because I went to the coast for like 4 days, and you know, a couple days leading up and a couple days getting home, just like recovering, you know. But yeah, so let me like explain what's going on here. This is Modern Folk Embroidery, Spirits of the Dead. I started this project back in like October of 2021, and so this is my 3rd year working on it. It seems to only come out in October. The first year that I worked on it, I did like from here over, and the second year I worked on it, I did the majority of this middle part, and I was about here-ish when I started up again this year after I finished the round robin. And so since whenever the heck I picked this up, I've done all this. I might actually go back and try to figure out how many stitches I've done. I'd have to go back, like with Pattern Keeper, if you change the date of your device and then you open Pattern Keeper and you open the pattern that you were working on, it'll actually show you the stitches for that day. So I might go back and try to figure out how many stitches I put into this thing, but I mean, you can see, you know, that's a lot. This is a 14 count. It was dyed by the Steel City Stitchers. It was supposed to be a 16 count, but I didn't realize until after I started stitching that it was actually 14 count. And so one of the things I did when I got it off the key snap was I went ahead and I counted down. I still have 86 stitches to come down, and so I went ahead and counted it out, and as you can see, my needle is here at 86, and I've got a good margin there. I wasn't sure if this was gonna pan out or not, but so I'm happy to see that is where that I've got a good margin for the rest of it. So yeah, so I wanted to explain what I did here. As you can see, so like if you look up this pattern, it is stitched on kind of a tan fabric, and then these vases and flowers and the bones and the skull and stuff are in black, and all of this white stuff is not stitched. But I'm doing the inverted for dark fabric version, which I don't believe has a cover model or a cover photo. But so I've been going along, and I was stitching on this already, and I had what is the word that I would use to describe? I had a thing happen. So I have never been close with my father. He didn't want to have anything to do with me, apparently, my upbringing, whatever. But I am friends on Facebook with a couple people who are associated to him. And a couple weeks ago, I saw on Facebook that he had had a stroke and he was on life support. And his other kids, the kids that he actually raised, were going to give people a day or two before they withdrew the life support to, come say goodbye. And I didn't really have a lot of time to think about what I wanted or needed to do. So I went because I figured it was better to go and not have needed to go than not go and then later realize that I wish that I had. And so I went, and it was just I find death to be very hard to deal with, no matter what the circumstances are. Because like I said, we were estranged. I had, for the most part, made peace with how, things are and how life is and stuff. But there's just something about the finality of death that, so for me, in my experience, this happened with my mom too. My mom and I, she raised me, but we were not close. We did not have a good relationship. She was mentally ill, and that made having a relationship with her very difficult. And so I think for me, what I have experienced now with both my parents' death is sort of a feeling of life sucks and life is not fair. And even though, like I said, I've pretty much dealt with all that stuff, there's something about death that just makes it really, really final and really in your face. And I happened to be planning a trip to Acorns after going to the hospital. I was on the right side of town for it, and there was something I needed to pick up there. And so what I decided to do to kind of help work through my feelings a little bit was I picked up a black silk floss, and it was just so convenient because I was actually at this line of stitching right here. I had come down, and then I sort of came down to this arch and then, went along the arch. But this line was the last line that I had done up here. So I was literally right at this flower petal. And so I decided that this piece was pretty appropriate, being all about death and whatnot, that I decided to stitch this flower in black, and I call it my spot of grief. Because it was just a rough, weird couple of days. So I know that visually it doesn't make a lot of sense to only have, one of these total of 6 flowers filled in, but that's what it is. It's a spot of grief. So yeah, I am done with this piece for now. I've been really feeling the burnout, but I was not gonna stop until I got this top part done. It now, I am hoping that the next time I work on it, so there's a quote here from the poem Spirits of the Dead, and then, you know, there's the border comes down. There's actually this outer border right here and an inner border, so 2 border lines. And then down here at the very bottom, probably these last like 10, somewhere between 10 and 15 stitches, is like a full coverage. It's like a full coverage banner with the name and the date for the poem, and then the quote. So I'm kind of hoping the next time I work on this could be a finish, because I can for sure do the quote. I think that's not a problem at all. Those, you know, letters and words go pretty fast. But then I think I might be so motivated by that point to get it done that I just go for it. The other thing that I might do, because of like Q-snap placement, is like if I'm gonna put it in the Q-snap, I can't get the whole thing in the Q-snap, so I may as well, you know, do the words and border that I can do and the full coverage part too, because otherwise that would be silly to go like Q-snap, 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 when I could just do Q-snap, Q-snap. So we'll see. I can at least, you know, fill the Q-snap again the next time I work on it. But I will be so close to done that like I think I can just finish it the next time. This top portion right here is already 60% of the pattern. There is only 30, just shy of 3,900 stitches left. So yeah, 3,900 stitches is a lot for me to do in like a session of working on a project, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, I might be so motivated to get it done that I just bust it out. We'll see. So that is gonna be it for this vlog. I'm pretty sure I have enough compiled here to put together and throw it up on the YouTubes. And I actually have no idea what I'm gonna stitch on next. No clue whatsoever. I was thinking about maybe busting out a quirky Quaker or two, seeing as how there's still a couple days left in October and there are several Halloween ones I still haven't done. But yeah, I will end this vlog, and I guess we'll see what I'm gonna stitch on in the next one. So yeah, thanks everybody for being here, liking, subscribing, commenting, doing all those good YouTube things, and I will see y'all in the next vlog. Bye.